Hi lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, and unlucky for some, we are now into episode number 13. In this episode, we are starting outside of Uwajima on the island of Shikoku. It is not Hokkaido, as I incorrectly stated in a previous episode, it is indeed Shikoku. The map itself is even called the Gorges of Shikoku, so I'm not sure where I managed to get it into my head that this was Hokkaido, but there you go. Yes, it's definitely Shikoku, so I wanted to correct the record on that one. Now, as you may be able to tell, there's been some changes to the freight hub at Uwajima. First of all, I've made some cosmetic adjustments here and put a bit of scenery work and detailing in and around the area just to make it look a little bit more busy, as obviously a large freight interchange for a large city would tend to be. What I've also done is put down a second truck station, as we can see just in front of us. The reason I did that is all of the stone stroke brick vehicles that we currently have, they were actually clogging up these roads here to the left on the original truck station, which prevented anything else from being able to pick up or drop anything off, and that was causing us a bit of slowdown. So I had to move them over onto their own separate station with an elongated station platform to make sure that they don't cause any blockages or traffic jams. So if we zoom out, we can have a wider look at this and see what's happening. So we still have our food and machinery vehicles coming into this freight exchange, but this one now is purely for the stone stroke brick vehicles. As we can see, all this back up here while they're picking up and offloading, as you can imagine, it was snaking all the way back down here, preventing anything else from getting in, and that was causing us, like I said, quite a few problems. Also, between episodes, I have upgraded some, but not all of our trains to the new wagons, the high capacity, higher speed wagons, and I've also made a fairly large change to our machinery delivery trains as well. And if we just jump to one of them now, we can have a look at these changes. As you can see, these are now double headed, and they have also had their consist elongated by quite a bit, and again that's just to offset the fact that they are travelling such a long distance that the machinery wasn't getting a decent throughput into Uwajima. As it stands now, obviously it's losing money at the minute, but it is on its way to Uwajima. But as we can see here, when it does make a delivery, it's making us 13.5 million. So the line itself is actually profitable overall, even if the rolling 12-month profit is sometimes a negative. As we can see here, the extent of the income does outweigh the expenditure, even when we don't have any income for a few years, so that's working okay. If we then head down to Yawatahama and Wakayama, there's been another change down here. Now, you may remember when we were laying the passenger line down that we couldn't fit anything into Wakayama, so what I've done instead is I've put a tram service, an intercity metro between the two cities, and this just runs down that country road between Yawatahama and Wakayama, and that's just obviously getting the people between the two cities, and it seems to be doing a decent enough job, even if it doesn't always have passengers on board. Again, a quick look at the finances, and we can see we are profitable most, if not every year since it started operation, so no concerns about that. Even if we do get the occasional tram that is empty or only has one or two passengers on board, it's nothing to get too excited about. Other than that, I don't think there were any other major changes between episode 12 and this one, so we can now crack on with further expansion of our company. And what I would like to do is start looking at some shipping options. Now, over here at Uwajima, we do have two of the three facilities that involve oil and crude oil. We have an oil refinery outside of Ura, and we also have a chemical plant and a fuel refinery at this little industrial square right here. Not too far away we do have some oil wells as well on the coast. So my plan is to have the oil shipped in to here somewhere. We can finalise our positioning of the port as and when we get there, and then the crude oil will be turned into obviously refined oil, and the refined oil will then be turned into fuel, and fuel can then be delivered to whatever city requires it, Ora being one of them, Kushima being another one, and I do believe that Yamatohama also requires fuel, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to get some brought down here. And again, that would be done by ships just because of the distance involved, although I suppose we could do it via train. We do have a cargo line now between Uejima and Yamatohama, and the fuel train could just drop off on one of the platforms where the coal and iron are being dropped off for the steel mill, since they're not loading anything up. While they may prevent access for a coal or iron train at some point, it's not going to be forever, because as soon as the train has unloaded, it will then head back to Uejima for another full load of fuel. However, given that both cities are on the coastline, I am quite tempted to go with a water shipping option for that. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So for now, we want to actually get the crude oil in to be refined. So we're going to need a cargo harbour, of course, and we'll have a large one. So if we go to that oil well we just spotted over here, we can put in our harbour. And we actually have quite a natural looking bay here generated by the map, so we'll make full advantage, or take full advantage of that. And then we'll connect it with a road. And it's that close, we have no concerns about it having an active connection between the industry and the port, as we can see, just to verify. So this is Yoshida Port, but I think I'll call this Yoshida Oil Well Port, because who knows, we might even have a port for the town of Yoshida, which is just here at some point in the near future, and we want to obviously differentiate between this port and any potential future ports that we might have in this area. So back over here, we're going to need a port here for the oil to be dropped off to. Now I wonder, could we have it here and then ship it by road, or do we want it here and then a separate port over here? I do believe this water here is open to shipping. Perhaps not, so we might have to rework that bridge if we did want to bring a port up here. Well, for now, I think in fact no, we will do that, even if we have to rework that bridge, it's no big problem. And we'll put that port just there, and this will be Ura Refinery Port. Again, just in case we ever have a port for the town of Ura itself. Okay, so if we want to make this bridge navigable, or the waters below it open for shipping, we need to obviously demolish the bridge. So let's pause it. And let's rebuild the bridge over the river. I can never remember if those two corners touching there means the ships can pass underneath or not. Either way, that's quite an extravagant bridge. So what we'll do instead is we'll just raise it up, or raise the base height of the bridge up a little. Perhaps 3 steps, although no, we'll go 2. I think 2 will be fine. Make sure we actually select a bridge. Okay, as we can see, we're definitely navigable at this point here. Is the bridge a bit steep? Perhaps, but there's no 2 ways around that. So we'll take the bridge, and then we'll have it just connecting to these roads here. And I imagine, yeah, it's going to be a little bit too steep to do it there. So what we're going to have to do is snake it around a little. How does that look? It's fine. It's not too steep. This little section might be a little bit more difficult because of how close the road is. So what we might end up having to do is actually deleting some of these industries here and sending our road down here and curving in up here somewhere. Let's see what we can do on that front. Perhaps if you only come down like that, or even like that, keep it nice and smooth in terms of the, well, not smooth, but nice and shallow in terms of the elevation change. And then from there on out you can wind in over there, and that should be okay. I'll put some retaining walls assets in here at some point to hide this awful terrain that it's ended up generating, but I'll do that off camera. For now we're just going to smooth some of this area off to try and take away some of that artifact that has been generated there by the road and the bridge. I think that looks fine. Our lines are no longer complaining about not having access, so we know it's all working correctly. And we also know that the river, well, it was open, I'm not sure if it is anymore. Well, we can test it very quickly. If we put a port down here, say just there, can we then set up a line and assign a ship to this line just as a test? No. So could not connect to all stations, so that bridge, even though when we were building it, it was open for shipping, it no longer is. So we're going to have to redo the bridge yet again. So again, we'll pause it. There we go. Hopefully that will stay like that. We'll keep this window or this info tab open just to make sure. You can connect in there like that, and then on this side, can you reach into there? You can, and it stayed green. Perfect. Well, that line that we were using as a test, we can now delete it. We know it's all open. And we'll call this Jima Freight Port because it might be handling several aspects of freight down here in the future. For now, we can focus on getting the crude oil shipped up. Let's restart the game. So we want to go from Yoshida Oil Well, and this is crude oil, so we'll have it darker in colour, into Ura. And then, shall we have it go to there as well? Why not? So we'll keep it black. At Yoshida we want a full load, and we'll have them wait as long as it takes to get to that full load. And you're taking crude oil there. You won't be unloading anything. At Ura you can just load if available, and you'll be loading refined oil but unloading the crude oil. And then at Uwajima Freight Port, you are loading nothing as of yet, but you are unloading the refined oil. And again, just take whatever is available for you once you get there. So this is our oil shipping, and this is Yoshida Uwajima. Obviously we are overlooking the intermediate step of Ura, but that's fine. So that should work okay. We need a shipyard, of course, so let's build one of those now, and we'll have it set here, just on the mouth of this little estuary here. So in terms of ships, all our ports are large, so we'll go large ship, and we want to take crude oil, and I think we'll go for the Vandal or the Vandal. 130 capacity and decent speed and power. And I think we'll start off with 4 of those for 4.3 million. We'll colour them black and we'll set them on their way. So out come our first ships. Let's just speed it up while they leave the dry dock. Here comes the first one now, just clipping through their counterparts as we can see, but that's fine. So you're going to make your way to the oil well, which should now be producing. Indeed it is. Do we have any cargo buildings we can put here? Oh yes, provides capacity for 200. So maybe we'll put another couple of these in, just so we can build up a huge stockpile of oil on the platform while the ships are making their way between the various ports on their routes. What are they all doing? Looks like they're trying to race. Not sure what they're up to. I'm sure they know. Well, I hope they know. Are they going down there? Or are they... Oh, okay. Well, whatever works for you guys, whatever works for you. So pretty soon we should start getting some fuel being produced. And as I said, one of the first places we're going to want that fuel to be taken to is the town of Yawata Harbour. Now the question is, as I alluded to earlier, do we send it by ship, which will give us a massively high interval between arrivals, or do we just send it by train? Train would be faster, but we might have to be a bit clever with our platform manipulation to make sure there is no messing around. If we did that, we would need extra platforms here for the fuel oil to be picked up by a road vehicle and taken over to the interchange here, so it could be loaded onto a train, of course. Or could we have a little shipping route with perhaps just a small ship with a port just here? Doesn't look like there's a sweet spot for this here. Could have it there, but does that kind of negate the point when we could just get it shipped over quite easily by road vehicles? Yeah, I think we'll just go for road vehicles. So if we're going to do that, as I said, we're going to want some more platforms on this truck station, and we'll balance it out. Even if we're not going to be using 4, we will keep it balanced. And we're going to stick a few cargo buildings in here as well, just to increase the capacity so we don't have as much wastage. Just smooth some of that off around there. And what I might do is even put a station exit up in the top corner there, with a view to having our trucks come in, pick up and then head out down there. Now to make sure they do that, we're probably going to want to put a waypoint in, so we'll do that. And what one do we want? We'll put a roadworks sign up, because why the heck not? What do we have here? The Russian class SCH. We'll take a look at that in a moment. At the minute we're focused on our ships. Let's see if we could get this to work. So we'd want to come in there on that platform, out via this waypoint here if we can select it. Come on. There we are. Now you're gonna play silly buggers and do that instead, aren't you? Which kind of defeats the point. I was hoping they'd just turn that way. What if we did this? That's removed our station exit, but we can reposition it. No, you can't put it there. Will you go there? What if you go up there, and then instead we have a little access road Stay level-ish. Yeah. What if we did that? What would that line be doing then? And then if we move it onto this platform, of course. Platform number 5. That's better. Yeah, that's a lot better. And even though it's only a smaller platform, we do have 3 cargo buildings, so we should have a decent capacity. Plus, the vehicles aren't going that far anyway, so there should never be an overflow. And then we want these to drop off. And what I might even do, because we're only dropping off, is put down an unload station just outside there. So again, back to this line. So after there, go there, and then you're going to just loop around there. We don't really have enough room here, I don't think, to put a little curved road in. We can try it. Let's have a quick go. We might be able to do it. Looks a bit awkward, but it'll work. And you've already opted to use the turnaround. Brilliant. So that should work okay. So over here then, we'll load all, but only wait for 30 seconds. We don't want you clogging, in fact, yeah, we'll do that. Don't want you clogging anything else up. You're taking fuel, so we'll go for that colour. And you are only loading fuel there, and obviously that's all you can unload, but we'll specify it anyway. And we'll call this the fuel shunt for Jima. Okay. So that's that ready to go. To get it started, I'm just going to buy 1 vehicle. That way, when he's waiting around here, he's not going to clog anybody up. So let's buy 1. Colour it orange, put it on the line. And we'll leave him to it. Now then, what platform would we want to use for picking up the fuel? We could use this platform. No, because we don't want the fuel train to block the stone freight trains. So it looks like we're going to have to add an extra platform, which is fine. If that's what we have to do, then so be it. Although we might struggle for space looking at where that road is just next to us. Let's have a quick check. We want platforms, cargo. Can you squeeze? Oh, you can. That's beautiful. Just enough space with the looks of it. However, we don't need space there. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and now we need to get this to come in to these lines here. Now we could just have a quick short line like this, and it's going to work, so why not just have that? I quite like the different style of platforms we have going on here, so I'm going to keep that. It was accidental, but I quite like it, so I'm going to stick with it. So at this point we should be able to then set up a line from here, and again we want this orange as it's going to be shunting the fuel, not shunting, it's going to be delivering the fuel. We want it to be fully loaded and wait as long as that will take. Loading fuel, and then we need to head all the way out over to Yoshida, which is all the way down here. So this is going to be another long haul freight. And then you're coming into, not there, into this platform, or this station, but we want you to go on platform 1 or 2. We'll say platform 1 with an option for 2 if there happens to be a train on platform 1. Although there wouldn't be, because no train is using platform. In fact, what we could do, well, first of all, let's just finish this off before we forget about it. So this is fuel freight Jima to Yawat, shorthand. Yes, but what we could do is have these lines opt for either platform, so they don't have to wait around if one of their cousins is sat on the platform they're aiming for. So let's do that. So at the steel mill, you can also use platform 1 if you need to. And then we'll do the same here. At the steel mill, you can use platform 2 if you need to. I think that should work okay. Don't see why it wouldn't. I think that's fine. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, this is... Oh, I see. That's how much cargo is waiting on the platform. Okay, so yeah. Coal freight is dedicated to Terminal 2, but it can go to Terminal 1 if necessary. At least I think that's what that is doing. Let's just verify that. Yep, Terminal 2, but you can also use Terminal 1 if you need to. Okay, so that's that done. We don't need the train just yet because we also need to set up a delivery line for the fuel itself. And I might keep this one separate from the steel mill truck station, so we'll put it up here instead. And we'll just go for the one platform again. And this can be based right outside. In fact, I will have it on this side, even though it's going to do nasty things with the terrain. Because that way we can put some cargo buildings on this side to make sure we don't have any overspill and wastage. We'll go for another 2 platforms. And then whack down 3 of these. And that should give us plenty of storage capacity if we need it. And then we just want to connect this in after renaming it. The Yoshida Freight Hub. So let's get this road connection that we need. You can come off like that. Do some terrain beautification around there where it's gone all weird. There we go, that looks a little better. And then we want a drop-off point in the town of Yoshida, and our vehicles are obviously going to come this way. At least I hope they're going to come this way. Let's find out where they want to drop off the fuel. Of course it's split over the river, but I think we'll have it just there. Seems to be the best point. We're missing all these on this side, but it's fine. And this is coming from here to here. And yep, you are using that road. You're orange. And again, we'll do the usual here. Fully loaded. Taking only fuel. And this is then fuel delivery for Yoshida. And again, just to get things rolling, we'll just get 1 truck waiting. There we go, and now we should be able to purchase our train. Let's head all the way back over towards Jima. And here is our freight depot right here. Buy vehicles. Good chance to look at the new locomotive, which is the SCH. A lot faster, more powerful, and not a great deal more expensive, to be honest. So let's go with that, and we'll double head it because it's going to be an almighty train just because of the distance. So similar to what we did with the machinery train. So cargo, tank cars, your orange. We'll stick to 156. A new tram. We might want to put that in Uwajima and the Yoshida. For now, we'll just buy 1 of these. That can go away for a minute. Let's put this train on the fuel freight line. Now it's going to stable up on the platform, and it's got its own separate platform, so it doesn't matter if it's sat there for an eternity waiting for the fuel to be delivered and produced. It's not a problem. Once we start getting the fuel and the oil where it needs to be, we can look at increasing the amount of vehicles that we have delivering between here and here, doing the little shunt for us. Looks like you've already made your first delivery. Have you produced your first units of fuel? Yes, you have, so that didn't take as long as I thought it would. That's rather impressive and pleasing. So in that case then, I'm going to go ahead and say we'll duplicate and duplicate again, and we'll have 4 doing that little shunt for us. Where are the rest of our ships? Have they all made a delivery? They have. Has it really been that long just setting up that fuel delivery line over to Yawatahama? Ooh, that's a bit ugly, don't look at that. Apparently so. Well, there you go. I'm hoping these will start to space themselves out a little better. In fact, I dare say, let's get 8 of them. Why the heck not? We have plenty of fuel here. We might need a cargo building here to act as a buffer. So let's do that. Configure cargo building. Yeah, you can dangle out in the water. We can really dangle out in the water, can't you? We'll just have that for now. And what's the capacity then? 336. What does this mean? Is that from the passenger? Is that from the buildings, do you think? I'm not sure. Well, we can tell, can't we? If these produce or have storage for 230, then it is because we have 2 of them. So let's check. 200. So not quite. I'm not sure how these numbers relate to one another. Answers on a postcard, please. Either way, it's working fine. I take it our fuel train is... Well, no, it can. It can come down. No, it can't, because it can't get from this line over here. So it is going to Yawatahama first, which is absolutely fine. It just means we have a bit more time for the fuel to be loaded onto the platform, ready for it. There it goes now. Given that we have the new locomotives, I think we'll upgrade some of our more prominent freight lines with the new locos, such as these coal freight lines. These have also been double-headed, as we can see. The iron ore freight line, that's still a single header. The stone freight line, and I think also the machinery delivery train can also be double-headed. So let's start with the coal freight line. We've got it right on top of the screen. Manage the vehicles, edit, select all, yep. So let's see what this would look like in comparison. 47.39, 21.23. So interestingly, I guess that's the tractive effort. No, it must be the... Ah yes, it's a lot heavier, that's the problem here. 78 ton versus 52 ton. So that's why on a high gradient it's not quite hitting that same speed as these trains, but that's fine. It's going to be faster anyway, so we may as well go ahead and do it. Get all them to the front, so that's those ones done. Back to the line overview. Stone freight, we want to do you as well. And you can stay single-headed. And what are you going to be? 47.35, 37.37. But I don't think the gradients are too bad for the stone freight train, so that should be fine. These should still prove to be faster, even though they are obviously quite a bit heavier than the OB. And I think the last one we'll do is, I think I said the machinery train. We've done that one, we've done that one. Yeah, we'll do the machinery, which is going to be at the bottom of the list because it's not made a delivery for a while. So we'll do a quick comparison just to see what the difference is. 47.33.18. Oh, that's... Oh, 37. I was getting the numbers confused there. That is better, even if on a medium gradient it's a little bit slower. It's going to be 10 miles an hour on a nice level grade when it gets up to speed, so for me it's worthwhile. We're not going to do all our trains though, let's have a bit of a mix and match. What do we have here? The Gaggenau C40, which is obviously a bus. However, before we get to the bus, I want to look at the tram. So if we head over to Yawatahama and Wakayama, that's where we have our tram line, or one of. And let's see here, we have 6 of these to replace them all. At the minute these are the columnars. So these are faster, they're also electric. I have electrified the line, so that's fine, and they have double the capacity. And they're quieter. They are heavier, but never mind. So we'll replace all those. Our first electric trams. So our inner city metro is now electrified. And we can also do the intercity, or the inner city, that we have in Jima, which is this one here. Like so. So as you saw, we also unlocked the Gaggenau, so we can have a look at that as well. I've got a feeling it's going to be better than what we have, and we'll just pick this bus service line for now. I did upgrade these to the ducts. I unlocked that between episodes because I forgot to pause the date progression, so that's why they are there rather than the, can't remember what they were called initially, the droshky. So Gaggenau C40, more capacity, more speed. Yep, it's a winner. So now what we're going to do is just go through, select all of the bus services that we currently have active on the map and replace them all with this new Gaggenau C40. There we go. So I wouldn't say we are modernising, not by our current standards, but we're certainly getting a lot better than we were a few episodes ago when we were relying on horse and cart. Okay, so I think we'll end it there for today, and I think we'll also take a little sail on one of our new oil tankers. Which one shall we go for? This one, it's just about to leave the port, so why the heck not? Before we do that, I just want to check the line profitability. Yeah, that's good, happy with that. We have our fuel waiting to be collected, and we have some on the platform as well waiting to be collected by the train. So yeah, let's hop on board this ship as it leaves harbour. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. It's been good to branch out into a different mode of transport, obviously the ships, and modernise, well again I use that term loosely, but yes, modernise some of our existing fleets as well with the Gaggenau C40s and the SCH locomotives. So as always, thank you very, very much for watching and all your support. It is greatly appreciated. I want to give a special thanks to all of you as we've recently tipped over 700 subscribers, which is far beyond any sort of expectations I ever had when I started out. So I'm pleased by that, and I want to thank each and every one of you. Those of you who haven't subscribed but just keep following tabs on the videos, thank you as well. If you would like to subscribe, then obviously do go ahead and hit that button, and that would be greatly appreciated. Let me know what you think about the change. I've obviously got some different music. The in-game music has gone on this episode, and I've gone for some downloaded royalty-free music, so let me know your thoughts on that. I'm happy to change it up, maybe with some different genres and styles. As you can probably tell by now, this one has been classical because I think it fits the game style, and it has that slow, well not slow, but that relaxed, calming sort of ambiance, which I do think is quite suitable for Transport Fever 2, especially when you're on easy mode. So yeah, all that being said, all that remains for me to say is, as always, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.